Thank you all very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at McManus. How was your meal? Give a nice big round of applause to Lisa and the team. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you guys. You are in for a thrilling evening tonight. This guy's a whirlwind. He's completely taken over the town. Well, he has. And we're not knocking him for that, are we? Absolutely not. No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand you straight over to Ian Holloway.
I've sussed you all out. Trouble with that table there, that one there. Listen, what can we say? The boys are overwhelmed. The feel-good factor around the place, all we want to do is score some goals for you. You know, the lads are working their socks off for us. We're trying to give them more and more confidence. Last week was a bit of a body blow. I felt we deserved a little bit more, but unfortunately, you know, you hit the post, it don't go in. You hit the post, it don't go in, and the other team go and score. That's why they're higher up the league than we are. But you know, all I can say is thanks to you lot. That we've still got a club, you know, and the club itself goes through good times and bad times, and I can't wait for all of us to experience what you have before. Football clubs are bundles of energy, and sometimes they're dissipating, sometimes they're growing, and I feel you're helping us with this, you know, and what we want to do is make sure the whole town celebrates what a wonderful football club it actually has. Should be really proud of the history, the roots, everything about it, and what it means to you all. And nothing has ever surpassed this in my life. Nothing. The little kids in that school this morning absolutely blew me away. Magnificent school, right? A world-class school where the headmaster, he's a Palace fan, but I'll forgive him for that. He's also a Grimsby Town fan. But he's thinking bigger. He wasn't happy with a certain level, so he's thinking bigger. And his staff, they had, I think it was 33 top marks in the exams, over 11 subjects. So you were at school kid when you were smart. I remember it. Absolutely marvellous. To meet them and see their faces, it was absolute a joy. But you wouldn't believe what football's about. And it's all those faces in there. I want to see them all with a black and white striped shirt on. None of these other imposters. We don't want to do it. You've got to be very proud of where you're from. And I'm so proud to be a part of this team. I didn't want it to feel like I broke it up. I haven't, because we're together. Unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. I just plied her with a load of drugs, kept her away from the opticians, and she's still with it. Turn the light off every now and again so she can't see what I'm really like. Run there and touch your face, oh my god, that nose is massive. So, apart from that, she is one who keeps going and goes through hard times. Like last week we had another one of these, believe it or not. This one's better. Because we're on the interweb and going into someone's laptop at home and whatever it is they've got. I hate all of that stuff, but never mind. It's good for my daughters because they're deaf, so they might be watching. Probably not. But you can learn from everybody, and he said something last week that's really stuck with me because it is so true. There's times in life you got to bite down on the gun shield where you're up against it. And that's when you find out about yourself. And that's when you find out what your real friends are about. And I gotta say, this place is full of people that really bite down on the gun shield. So that's what we're all about here. And what I can't stand, I don't want people being criticised if they try their very, 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 very best. If you are sat with someone who does that, who feels like they can shout at my team and my family and our family, you better stick up for me and tell him to shut up. Because life's about being encouraged. Life's about encouragement. You have to have courage. You have to be courageous. How can you be like that if someone's not encouraging you? The word itself is really important. Encourage. First start with yourself. Encourage yourself. Don't be too down if it goes wrong. And then encourage the people around you. And when they need you most, you be loud for them. If he doesn't do it, I'm going to tell him. But the second he does what I want him to do, I'm going to pounce on him and say, well done. So he knows he's careful. That's what it's about. But you don't really know anything until you've been through. You know? And I've had some things happen in my life which, you know, I've been thankful for because you've learned from it. But luckily for me, I've never lost one of my children. God knows, I heard it on the radio this morning, this woman lost her child. And dearie me. I don't know how you do that, you know? So for all those people who've had that, I'm so sorry for you. I think I would give in then, I've got to be honest. Because there are certain things that shouldn't happen. But I can guarantee you one thing. Our team will never, ever give in. We might get it horribly wrong. We might make some what looks like errors, but I'm trying to teach them to have a brain and develop the speed of thought that the people on the telly behind you have. Right? If you don't aspire to be like them, you will never be like them. And I don't think there's any limit. We're going to work with every single child, every single player in the academy to try and encourage them to pass and move, if not in possession, in position. And develop their own brain and play with a freedom that would make you proud of them. Right? But we know, more than anything, what you want to see is them fighting for everything. So far, I can honestly say, since we have been in charge, you've seen that every week. Even in the run where you didn't quite win. Didn't quite win, and didn't quite win. They won in the end. It was absolutely vital that we did that against Salford. Absolutely vital. And Akeem's shot took so long to go in, I couldn't believe it. I had to go at him after. How can you hit it that slow? Because my heart nearly gave in. It bobbled, it bumped, it bobbled, it bumped, it bobbled, it bumped, and went in. But sometimes you just got to keep going. Alright? So I think we're on the road to something fantastic. That's where I'm looking.
So one of the questions we did get from one of the tables on this side. Two players. Who's the best player that you think you've worked with, and who's the worst player you've worked with? That's a fair question.
It's a bit tricky how I'm going
And we're on to the inter-winter spiderweb, whatever it is, as well. Turn that off and I might tell the right thing too. That's a fair question.
It's very unfair, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to start with the best one first and then ease my way into it. Probably the best player I've worked with, I've had a few in academy football, so I was at Southampton for 5 seasons, managed to work with a lot of good players that come through that system, albeit at an academy level. Probably the one with the most natural sort of ability and talent was Luke Shaw. Physically was very good, developed well and needs to develop a bit more by the looks of it. But probably him and James Ward-Prowse as well, because probably for the opposite reason, probably the one that lacked the most natural ability, but in terms of his work rate and his focus and his intensity, probably him. And probably the worst player would be Ben Davies.
Get away. I'll just move a chair out of the way. He'll be all over him like a staffy.
If I'm fighting Ben, I'm definitely biting down on my gum shirt, 100%.
It's alright, I'll calm him down, it's alright. He's getting worried over there, mate. You can let me go with him.
Yeah, because he brought me into the club, so yeah, you can say what you want.
We all love you now, mate. Tell him what you really feel. Can I say that? Reliable Tinterweb. What is it recorded? What are we on?
YouTube.
YouTube. All right. On the line. YouTube. Fantastic. Got that, whatever it is, isn't it? Anyway, any other questions, or are we going off home?
Well, the question was for you actually. If you've got who's your favourite player that you've worked with?
Oh, you did. That's unbelievable. Where do you want me to start? How unfair is that? They're all my boys.
Yeah. Anyone?
They are all my babies. They're all my team. They're all my family. I can't have a favourite at all. And if they don't behave, they won't get an ice cream. Simple as that. Never spoil a kid with an ice cream unless they deserve it. Otherwise, they'll bitch you the rest of your life. I've got some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful players who shone for me with the group that they were with, because no one could shine on their own. I'll give you an example. Charlie Adam was unbelievable because next to him was David Vaughan and Keith Summers. So they did all the horrible stuff while Charlie took all the credit. But Charlie knew he needed them. And without them he wasn't quite the same. So, you know, I had Stephen Dobby, DJ Campbell, Brett Homer, I had some forwards that you would not believe. Gary Taylor Fletcher. They were absolutely immense. Ben Burgess. It was unreal. Matt Phillips. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And what every one of them managed to do was improve and become part of something that felt special. And I kept saying that to them. Why don't you become famous? Why can't you be remembered? Why can't we do something like Sir Stanley Matthews has and Sir Stan Morrison has? And, you know, why can't we be the next generation? So, on the lower echelon of the club, I took those pictures, put them up in the boardroom, and I put my players up there because I wanted them to feel that it is possible to do something special. So, I can't pick any one of them above anybody else. It's unreal. Kevin Phillips, I signed him at 39 years old. He scored the winning goal in the playoff final for me, and he only trained twice a week. The bloke was so professional, it's unbelievable. But, you know, I had people at Bristol Rovers who I bought from non-league Barry Ells, and he went on to play for Fulham within 3 years. He was 26 when I bought him, and playing in the Premier League at the end of it, you know, unbelievable. Because never say never. But he couldn't do it on his own. It takes a team, it takes a spirit, it takes people of like-minded nature to stand and line up and point the same way and keep moving forward. That's all you can do. And I hope you feel the same as me. I was proud of last weekend. I was proud of the weekend before when we were down at Oran. I was proud, immensely proud of Mansfield. I was so proud of the Salford effort. What I'm saying to you is I've been so proud every game. And don't just want one result. The results will come if the performances improve. So that's what we judge. A result is an imposter. Because you only ever get 3 of them. A win, sometimes you get them when you don't deserve it. What have you learned from that? A draw, sometimes people are lucky when they get that. And a defeat. I didn't think we deserved one last week. Unfortunately, we got to take that. We got to move on. But I'm disappointed, but not downhearted. Never be downhearted, right? It takes too long to pick your heart back up before you get working again. Should never show that. All right. So that's what we're all about. We're all about togetherness, working hard, and believing that the standards that you used to set aren't the standards I want in the future. Because we're going to make history ourselves. We're going to write it, it's going to be kind to us because we are going to be all over these walls one day with the lads that we managed to bring here and the lads we managed to help and the way their families are looked after by us, who are the best club in the world for how you treat them.
you only played Blundell Park once, didn't you? Can you tell us about that occasion? You remember it so well?
Yeah, he asked me that last time when he good. Yeah, he's like, he's milking a goat there, come on. What happened was, we came here and it was in the height of fishing. Boy, oh boy, did it smell a lot stronger then. We got off the bus, whoa. Anyway, it was frightening because your lads played so well. We managed to draw 1-1 and then it was penalty shootout. One of our big stars, Dave Barsley, missed one. He was nearly playing. And I was nowhere near one of our stars. I took one and scored, but we managed to just defeat you on the night. But we were outplayed, to be honest, by Alan Buckley's team, and Ray Wilkins and I knocked on the door and went and congratulated them on a magnificent lesson they gave us, to be fair. But again, we won, you lost, and that's life. All I can remember, the pitch is a lot better now than the blooming well was then. Unbelievable bobble, I miss from a yard, unbelievable bobble. Nothing to do with me.
Another question from one of the tales. In the 18 months that you've been a manager, or not been a manager, it says, did you get any offers from other clubs? And if so, why did you choose the Mighty Mariners?
I had one other interview, and they chose an under-17s coach ahead of me. He said I was too old. I don't want any sympathy. I wore my best gear that day as well. It was unbelievable. I spent 40 minutes polishing my head, trying to look good. Honestly, I'm on the tincture web. I can't tell you, Swansea. Did I say that then, Ben? Yeah, and why I chose here is because of the people. I ain't stupid. People think I am, but I'm not. And I saw the opportunity to actually try and build something that I think is worth building, worth being part of. Did a lot of homework and pulled me way in, basically. You know how it works. Honestly, you know how tight the man is. He's very clever. I love him a bit, but good gracious me, I have to find me way in. I was begging him with the John, come on. Start a little fiver, ended up in a lot of money. That's why I thank my wife for a huge lump out of our pensions. Who needs a pension? I might be dead anyway. If I carry on like this, I could be dead next week, to be honest. Absolutely worn out. But anyway, if someone don't ask one of these two a question, I'm going to let them go home. Because they called me that I hogged it last week. It's not fair. He's come all the way from Australia, mate. Give him a question. And they get so feisty, don't they? Eh? Don't he? Gets fucked off. He wants to win everything. He wants to win tiddlywinks. I don't know what that sandpaper is in his bag, do you?
I've got to ask this because it came from one of the tables, and to be fair, you know, last time we didn't have so many questions from the table. It's for all of you guys, you can all answer this one. Do you feel that you need a vocal, experienced pro in the centre of the park to encourage the young players that we have?
Who's that starting? Why?
I do think, hang on, Wolves have just scored, let's just look at them. I do think in dressing rooms that I've been over the years, the senior players in the dressing room play a massive part. Let's not forget, in every dressing room you have lads ranging from 16, 17-year-olds to 38-year-olds. As my career got older, I always remember as a kid, I went on loan to Kidderminster. A group of lads, I was a professional footballer, they were part-time, and there was one man who went out of his way to look after me and take me under his wing, and I always said to myself from that day that when I'm a pro and older, I'll always look after the young lads. Some footballers can be very selfish in clubs I've played with, and you believe it or not, the higher up you go, the more selfish they get. But in terms of your question, senior players play a massive part in the dressing room because they're with them from minute one. The minute you walk in the door, you're in the dressing room with the players. And the best teams I've been involved in, the most successful teams, the senior players have been very hands-on, and they run the dressing room, if you like, away from our ears and our eyes. And we're lucky that we have got some good ones here. Mac is brilliant with them, Hans is brilliant with them, Luke Waterfall's brilliant with the lads if they step out of line, Luke Hendry, bang, they're on them. And like I said, the best teams and the most successful teams I've been in, the senior players play a massive part, yeah.
Anthony, you want to answer that, having been in the chair?
Yeah, I think it's not just about sort of how old you are as well when you talk about senior players. I think it's leaders and experience that they've got. So for example, Luke Hendry's 25 now I think, 24, 25, but he acts and carries himself around the training ground like he's 32. I don't want to tell him when he looks 32, but he really does, and he leads the younger players. And during the time that I was caretaker, him and Macca were excellent for me personally. They really led the group. We had a lot of meetings, we had a lot of chats about what we wanted to implement. And for him, so for an example, although he might not be 30, he's a very good leader. Does that make sense? Someone as well like Matty Pollock is probably the loudest in the warm-up, then, isn't he? Matty Pollock, we can't shut him up. He's talking so much on the pitch. So although he's only young by age, he doesn't probably know it yet, but he's going to be a natural leader and is already, I think. So, I mean, the gaffer comes in and expects everyone to communicate, I think, on the pitch and in training, so it's up to everyone. So I think that, yeah, depending on your age, it doesn't necessarily mean if you're 30 you're going to be a good leader or an experienced player who can impact the dressing room, but I think it depends on what sort of character and what sort of person you are. And I feel like this season in particular, we have got good people and good experienced people at the club. It really hurts them when we lose, doesn't it? And we had a few games where we lost, so we know. But that wasn't a joke, by the way. But you're right. You said it before. I think about you find out about yourselves, and the players do as well, and it really does hurt them, and they really do care. So the good experienced players in there, or the people who are leaders, have been very good this season.
Yeah, Ollie, you've come in. Were there any, I don't want you to mention any names, of course, but were there any players that you felt weren't loud enough in the dressing room when you first came in, and you sort of felt you needed to bring them out a bit?
It's my biggest problem with them now. I came in the other day and I didn't speak for probably 45 minutes. I used sign language. And I was going to try and carry it on all day. I found it impossible. But I want to try and prove a point that without communication, that's one of the biggest areas that moves break down. Because you should be talking it, you should be seeing it, you should be part of it. You should help your teammate. Give him the ball, but put a message on it. Tell him what you want, and then you can be part of the move. Because the best players in the world that I managed to play with in the end, they were 4 passes ahead of you. They were. Honestly. So if you can believe in yourself and be part of that and keep moving. And to improve as a player, you need your teammates to improve, because they're the ones who make angles for you. Because they see the ball coming to you, they should already be moving because they're thinking quicker. And as they're moving, they should be checking where they want to pass it so they can speed up their play. So all these people who are getting close to us at the moment, if we move it quicker and we pass it quicker because we've already looked, bang, mirror signal maneuver, bang, mirror signal, yes, bang, do your maneuver, you're going to speed up the play. If you get it the wrong way round, like a lot of lower league players, then it's impossible. But I've done it before where you change the philosophy of those people because they realise I can do that. And it's only practice. And the practices are so often that in the end they're doing it without themselves noticing it, and that's when you know you're good at something. When we drive, and you drive a long way, sometimes you don't know you're there. And how did you do it? Do you know what I mean? So it's the same as playing good football, because people are already there. You know? So I think we got some fantastic lads, I think we are a little bit short in the midfield area of experience, and I'm trying to get him to do a little bit of training to get him back into the fold, because I don't want to do too much more business, because too many changes is like getting a pack of dogs and you don't know what's going to happen. But this fella is a winner, and everything he says is right and true from the right now, and he's still a very, very, very good player. So, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be fair to him. I'm not going to ask him, I'm not going to throw him in against Conor McGregor, and, you know, we wouldn't do that. But what I need him to seriously do is make sure that he's still not going to waste anything that he's still got. But I haven't told his wife that yet. Yeah, I know. And it's on the interweb.
That leads us nicely into the next question that's come from one of the tables. It says, over the last few years we've had some fantastic loan players, such as Dean Henderson, Connor Townsend, Elliot Embleton. It's good to see this trend continue. What's your view and strategy in balancing short-term loan players versus the stability of longer contracted players?
Someone saw that one, hasn't it? Yeah? Or she. It's always a balance. What I like is my own players. Otherwise you're developing someone else's player who can go and can leave. But, you know, in reality, these big wigs now, they nickel the young ones really early, they get them too cheap. They stack them and rack them, and, you know, at the end of the day, you're not in the same ballpark. But I can confidently tell you, when I was doing my research on this football club, with my little feeders all out through the world of football, our youth academy is the envy of other people, and in certain age groups, people like Man City are crawling all over them at the moment. So we should be very, very proud of the young men that we're grooming. And I want to mention one on the weekend, Ollie, the goalkeeper. He actually broke his hand before the game in the warm-up. And he knew it was hurting, but he still played. And at the end, he took his glove off, they had to cut it off. And he didn't let that team down. That's the sort of kid he is. Made in Grimsby. And it makes us proud.
Probably just following on that question, if I can, is with the loans, is I've been on sort of both sides of the fence with the loans, been in academies where we loan players out, but then been at clubs like this, and as a manager when we loan players in. And I think the important thing that we probably do naturally without thinking about is even though when we get a player on loan, we don't think of them as a loan player, we want to integrate them in the team and think of them as one of our own. And I think how you treat them, whether they're from here, signed on a contract, or whether they're at another club coming in, they're under our care, we're looking after them, we've got a duty of care to develop them. So I think that's really important as well, and that's why the people who have been on loan, we still speak to Embleton now. He's done his hamstring at the moment, he's not back till February, just to let you know, trust me, I've been speaking to him. But like, he loves it here, he always checks the results for Grimsby, he always asks how we're doing. Do you know what I mean? We keep in contact, and that's good, because I think you need to do that, and then the better you do with those loans, the better ones you can get in the future. And I think that's so important. But then the other way of looking at it is Max Wright, who without the loan system might not be ready to play as much as he is now. Because I think the club did a really good job with him with the loans. I mean, he had loan after loan. Harry Clifton, I think, had one loan, then come back in and play. Max wasn't quite ready. I think he had 4 loans, didn't he, by the time he was with you Boston last season. And he played 30-odd games and did really well with that loan system. So the loan system can work for us as well. And each player's got a different pathway in development. So I think Max is a great example of how the loans have worked for us in this club as well. And we all love Max, don't we? Hope he's not watching on the old internet.
Let me play on the left. Let me play on the left.
He can play anywhere, that boy. Hey?
He's not called that.
He can catch chickens. That's what he's got to realise. Life's about moving. And if you can move, the better you can move, the harder you'll get in the game. So he's got one hell of a chance. What a wonderful young man he is.
A very different question. Two questions in actual fact. We spoke about the second one last time. Premiership clubs are now talking about stopping cup replays. As someone who's managed at the top level and now in the league, what's your view on that? And what do you think of VAR?
That's two questions. The second one's a pile of donkey poo. Wow. I don't like Premier League clubs because they think they're creating players by stacking and racking them. And I know what they're doing. They're not making players, they're making horrible people. Right? They're making frustrated people. They're making little temperamental superstars who think they're better than they actually are. They've earned a lifetime's of earnings without earning it. So for me, I don't like any of that nonsense. You're better off, like Matty Pollock is, with us, playing week in, week out, if you're good enough. Right? And really, we have produced, in the EFL, we have produced more players than any Premier League club has ever done, probably barring Man United. And that was Fergie's big plan. He spoke to one of his wonderful, wonderful best friends in Sir Bobby Charlton, and Sir Bobby Charlton did a Bobby Charlton soccer school all around the country, and everybody who won it, they signed. It was a scam and a mockery to make, and it was so clever. They got David Beckham in that, they got the class of 92 in that, and they brought him in. That was Fergie's baby, that was Bobby Charlton, and they deserved it, absolutely. And everybody else has tried to catch up with them after that. Chelsea have thrown money at it. Why don't they put the lads in the first team, for God's sake? And now they got off transfer ban and they're just starting to do it. It's heartbreaking. And I lost one when I was at Bristol Rovers, a fellow called Scott Sinclair. He went to Chelsea for £200,000. It's an absolute disgrace. Right? It was an absolute disgrace. His mum and dad got paid more than that for him to go there. Do you know what I mean? And in the end, he went for millions and millions. He's doing brilliantly at Selwick. He never put a shirt on for us because they took him when he was 15. I begged him to stay with us and score goals and all of that. But it's a very sad thing. They don't produce players, in my opinion. And the intensity or the lack of intensity in the under-23s is not where you want to play. It doesn't matter. Those games, nobody watches them. They tell them, oh, have you done your skill set in that game? What was the score? It's like crazy. You have to be in front of a crowd where you see what it means to the people. And our lads who we've just borrowed, they got to shape up because they don't know what it's like yet. You know? So it's going to take us a little bit of time to bed them in. Hopefully their talent will come through. But, you know, I'm just really excited about who we produce. It's not how good they are, it's who they are, which is amazing. Give me a less talented player all day long, who's honest, who wants to become better. I'll have him all day long than some fancy Dan big time Charlie who thinks he's in. Not for us, no thank you. Get out.
We're having a break shortly, just doing a bit of a plug for you really. Not a trick question, do you play golf? Yeah, everybody?
I don't play golf, I ruin the course.
It's just like,
zigzag.
it's just in relation to the YDA. We just wanted to give them a bit of a plug because there's a lot of supporters of the YDA in the room tonight, and the supporters of the YDA do a tremendous...
What's the YDA?
Youth Development Association.
Sorry, Youth Development.
Oh, thank you.
They do a fantastic job.
All of this BCA, you know, we don't get all of that nonsense. It's in July.
Yeah, Friday the 10th of July. If you could support it and promote it, or maybe
No problem, Friday the 10th of July, Tinternet. Are you listening? Friday the 10th of July. Everybody on the Tinternet, Friday the 10th of July.
Where is it? Where is it?
I can't
Grimsby
remember.
Golf Club.
Where?
Grimsby Golf Club.
Grimsby.
Grimsby Golf Club! Or
Guys, we're going to take a 15-minute break so that you can replenish your glasses, go to the loo, do whatever you like. You can Holly and the
I'll
guys.
think of some more questions because we're running out of air up here.
We'll see you in a few minutes.
We've probably got millions, but that was on one of our tables, so yeah, thank you.
up from one of the tables. You can all have a go at this one. Anthony, would you like to do this one first? What match day superstitions do you have?
Been told to stand up. Some stand on the chair. What was the question, sorry? Yeah, when I played when I was younger, which wasn't at a very good level, but I used to buy a new pair of shin pads, or a new pair of pads before, or if we lost the game. But then that got too expensive, so I had to stop that one. So I had to get rid of that one. For a while then, the superstition was my wife had never seen me win a game as a coach or a manager, so I banned her from coming. That didn't go down too well. She's probably on the internet watching this as well, by the way. So that was a bit of a, yeah, it was hard. She kept coming, and she kept coming to the big games, and we kept losing them, and then she come to the Lincoln game here, and we drew, and then she finally come to the Salford game, and we won. So that's gone. But I always probably not too superstitious, if I'm honest. Not too superstitious. I don't know about these two. Have probably got more superstitions than me, but not too much. Yeah.
Have you got any superstitions, Ben?
Go stand up there. Go, what do you want on the chair? God's honest truth, this one. Up until the age of 25, I was really superstitious. Left urinal, left boots, left shin pad. Then I played every single game that season, 50-something games. Won the playoff second leg, literally last seconds before the first playoff game at Wembley. And we played MK Dons away at that horrendous hockey ground. I know you remember that. Pitch was rock hard. Went to jump up, literally snapped my Achilles. Referee blew his whistle, missed Wembley. So after that, from the age of 25, not one superstition now.
I'll stand up. I'm not going on the chair. If I fall over, I'll crumble. I don't know about superstition. I think I've got a bit of OCD, to be honest. Yeah, I've always been like that. You know, when I play this game, if the kettle was boiling, I'd try and get the coffee in a cup and do all of that before it finished, and then we might win. And then when I looked at the mess I made, I thought, what am I doing that for? I think you just try to, because you want something so badly, you try and make things in your mind to think that you're going to get it. And really all that is a bit of stress, you know? So the older I've got, the less I worry. And I try and think about what would I do if it goes wrong, so you have a bit of a plan. You know? And I found that. There's a big head, look at him. I'm not saying he's big headed, he couldn't get in the bloody door, could he? Hey, look at that cap as well, gets in. Liverpool's just gone 2-1 up. Hello, you big headed boy, look at that. Does look a bit like me, doesn't it, with the old news? Deary me. He takes that off, and his head's still that big, you know what I mean? Shouldn't laugh at my own joke, I find that quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, so really I just think it's a load of hogwash, really, to help you try and do something. And all you've got to do is just keep practicing and never give up, really. So, if you do it, I'm not knocking you, but, you know, really, just start believing a little bit more in it. And the more you practice, the luckier you get. Who said that? Jack Nicholson. No, not Jack Nicholas. Jack Nicholson, listen. In The Shining, wasn't he? Who's in The Shining? Here's Johnny! Johnny's knocking the bloody thing over here as well. Anyway, is there any more questions?
Yes, I've just been handing one.
Sorry?
Who handed me this one just 2 seconds ago?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
You did, right.
No, you.
What he said then was...
Should the Bristol Rovers keeper have been sent off in the playoff final?
Yes.
Well,
I think we know the answer.
the real answer is yes, but as a guy said no. And who knows if that would have not gone that way, then things might not work out how we are now. So, yes, there you go. You got an answer in it. Anyway, any other questions?
On Friday last week, you told us all about your relationship with Wilkins in the midfield. You formed a partnership with him, and you described it brilliantly. Can you describe it to the guys that didn't hear it last time? It involves a piano.
Sorry?
It involves a piano.
Oh yeah. You got to know what you are, you got to know what you're good at. And I was a midfield player who got there as quick as he could. Sometimes a little bit late, a bit like Ben. But I realised I had to be part of a team. My dad taught me that when I was young. And you got to work out which part you are. So I wasn't the fancy dance stuff. I was a piano carrier. And I put it down so Ray could sit down and play it. And my dad always said, know your next pass and give it to someone who's better than you. And you'll be part of the team. So that's what I did. And I worked, and I worked, and I worked. And he was 36 at the time, and he said, you know what, son? You're going to give me an extra 3 years on my career. Because what I had to do was get in between two men, and whoever was marking Ray would run in the box. Because my man wouldn't bother, because he knew I would track him. So in the end, Jerry Francis said, get in between two of them and mark Ray's man. So what Ray would do then was run out on the wing, the goalie would catch it, he'd hit a great pass, and come on, Holloway, you idiot, well done, Ray. So, cheers, Ray. But the best story is, I was the worst dressed man. Right? We had 4 kids, I had no money. Jerry gave me very little money to go up to QPR, I couldn't turn it down, could I? So, Ray Wilkins was exactly the same size as me, believe it or not. And one day he came in, and he went, have you got your car here, son? I went, yeah. He said, can I have the keys? I said, what? He said, I've got a little something for you. Don't want to show the lads, but just take it home. If you don't want it, just throw it away. But I'm having a little switch around in my wardrobe, and I thought I could give it to you. So anyway, I said, here's the keys. I didn't look. When I got home, I opened up the boot. My God, there was black bin bags of stuff. So when I carried it all out, 3 attempts, there was 5 suits and 15 shirts. Every one of them was a name, a designer name. So I went from the worst dressed man to the best dressed man overnight thanks to Ray Wilkins. Every one of them fit me like a dream. And the lad said, where'd you get that from? I said, Ray give it me. And he went, Ray give it me. Thanks, Ray. What do you think? And not being funny, that's how shallow they were at first. They would turn their jackets inside out and have the names showing as they put them down. And I didn't have any gear before Ray gave me that. And I went, just when Asda was starting doing George's, you know what I mean? So anyway, I needed a suit, so I bought one from Asda. Put it on. Guy Wilson went, oh, nice suit, Ollie. Where's that from? I went, Asda, mate. He went, no, it isn't. George's. Oh, look that up. That's lovely. 3 weeks later, he went, I said, yeah, I know. It was Asda. What's wrong with Asda? What's wrong with Primark? What's wrong with people? Why pay through the nose for stuff? And if I had paid through the nose for stuff, it cost me millions, wouldn't it, with this nose? Almost as big as his over there. Anyway, that's that one. Well, what a man.
Thank you, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Does anybody want to ask a question?
I'll ask you one.
Yeah, please.
Ollie, you spoke earlier on about Premiership clubs, and Anthony did, about lending us young players. How much pressure are clubs like us under to play these young lads when they arrive, bearing in mind the playing staff we've got already?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
First one ever.
For us now, we're under no pressure to do that. I will not let them dictate to me whether I play a kid. He's got to earn the right. Right? So the two that we had here, right, they worked out quite expensive if we didn't pay them, and I'm not going to put up with that. So it's nobody's fault, I just will not do it out of principle. If I'm going to borrow one of their lads, they should be paying us. Because we're going to work with him and educate him. Do you know what I mean? So I am not having that. So I put my foot down, and luckily the lad still wanted to come, and I just told his agent to go do one. Because I don't trust too many of them to have the right intention for their boy in that academy, you know. And really, academies are fantastic to a point. When the boy is frustrated that he's not playing, and Anthony can talk about this better than me, because most of the time they get so frustrated because they want to perform in front of a crowd, they're not in the first team, the better ones go, and then they get disillusioned. So we might get someone who's not playing, who gets disillusioned, and we're going to just throw them straight back. Because I remind them straight away before they come, you're representing your club, and I'm good friends with Sean Dyche, so I'm going to tell him. If you step out of line, I'm going to tell him. But what you've got to do is try and find out about characters. You know? So, we're never going to do that. Unfortunately, they make money off the back of these kids, because the higher you go, the more loan fees you've got to pay. Sometimes you pay a loan fee, and you pay all their money, and you've got to put them up. I mean, it's ridiculous. But we don't fall foul for that. And we're not going to. And again, we want our own players. But our academy cannot give us every position all the time that we need. We've got a really good young left back. He's not quite physically ready yet. But give him another year or so, he might well be. So, but I asked that first. You cannot block anybody of ours coming through, otherwise you're not doing the job right.
Yeah, carry on.
The follow-up question to that is, do you bring these young lads in with a view that they won't make it at the clubs you're at now, but you think you can do a job for us?
No. The ones we've got are quite highly rated by their club at the moment, and they will let us judge when to play them. I've said to them they've got to earn the right to be in the team, and they've also got to earn that right within the group to be in the team. Because if I brought them in, put them straight in, you're giving them a reward when the other lads have done well recently, you know. So, you know, take Saturday out of it where we actually lost 3 points, but we got 7 out of 9 in the 3 games before that. So why would I change a team that was doing well and trying hard to put a new lad in? But what we got to do is have a squad that we can dip into and dip out of, and that's a little bit difficult financially where we are in this division, because you're limited, and we've already spent up to our limit. So that's why I've got a few out, try and get a few in, and also have a look at them. You know, I've got lots of people who ring me all the time, oh, I saw your lad, I did this and did, you know, so I've got lots of contacts. We physically got to be out on the training ground training our lads to play a certain way. You know, so we can't go all around the country, and Boy Scout is good because you watch the whole game, but it ain't like being there. And really it's about knowing the characters that you bring. Anybody who runs a company, anybody who works in a company, anybody who's part of a team situation, you need to trust the person next to you to have a good organisation. So surely you've got to know exactly what they're all about before you bring them. And all I will say, if I get any of them wrong, they'll be out the door quicker than you could say, because we don't waste our time with anyone. You know? So that's it. That's where we are.
Ollie, can I,
Mike, can I just add to that, please?
yeah?
Normally everyone thinks like, from Manchester, we always think Grimsby and Cleethorpes are shithole, don't they? Don't come across from Manchester.
What?
We love it here, we all love Grimsby and Cleethorpes. But normally you get your Manchester-based players and Liverpool-based players, it's saying Mount Atkins and all them players, don't you? It's hard to drag them players over to this area. you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had a story. I got asked this one on Friday, and I remember I signed from Portsmouth to come back here to play for this football club. And the first day, there's two lads sat on an exercise bike who just signed and said, "Oh, if we have a good year this year, we're a little bit out of the way here. We have a good year, score a few goals, we'll be back closer to home." But that's changed now. The lads that play for this football club will know what it means to play for this football club.
It's a nice area.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's just the fact that
It's a sport, isn't it?
I've given up a lot to come back here with my wife and my kids to play for this football club, and to hear that, to this day still I'm fuming about it, but the lads know from the under-7s to Hans, the centre forward, what it means to play for this football club now, and every time someone pulls on the shirt, they will give absolutely everything they've got now for this football club.
Change that perception.
It's already changed from day one.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah, from the minute it walked to the door, that will change.
It changed from the minute Am took over as well, yeah.
There is nothing wrong with old-fashioned values when it comes to discipline and hard work. And if you want to earn a bonus, you've got to damn well earn one. You know, so we're not going to pay people over the odds to come here and sit around and think, oh, where am I going to go next? That ain't what we're about.
Yeah.
It's an absolute privilege and an honour to be here, and you better damn well know that, otherwise you ain't going to be part of us.
Yeah, I think it's I think if that's the kind of thing that people are thinking when they're coming here, then they're not the place for us, are they? And one thing I could say is this season in particular, I really do feel that the players do really care about the people here, about the fans, about everyone who works at the club, about us as a team. And they're good lads, aren't they? They are good lads and they do really care. And when we're going through that run that was tough, and it was tough for us all, wasn't it? Us as staff, you guys as fans, you could see it was frustrating. The hurt that they felt in the dressing room and when they come in on the Monday, and it was tough for them as well. The guys who have been in and around it, you would back me up on that. And I feel like this group this season definitely cares about that. And they really, really do. And they were giving 100% everything for the last manager. They were giving me 100%, and they're doing exactly the same for this manager, which just shows that they do care and they want to be here and they want to work hard. And I think that's a good thing. And we need to continue on that, because the minute we just come off that a tiny little bit, and you let one bad attitude come into the group, it can throw the whole the others off. And it's important that when we sign players, or there might be good players out there that we're linked with, or that we don't get, and that might be one of the reasons. They've got to come and add value to the group, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, which is more important. It really, really is.
This club has had so many bad apples, like we could Paul Linwood this week saying that podcast, you know what I mean, saying he's pissed off him and that lot, you know what I mean? Barry Connolly and all that lot. Too many bad apples here, haven't we?
Nice question. Ben's been a player at the club. You've been a coach. No, I'm a manager.
No!
Grimsby has always had a fantastic following, especially on away days. You lads have sampled it. How have you felt about the following since you've come into the club here?
Absolutely nothing on earth like it.
And what part do we have to play in moving this forward?
I understand how it works. I was a Bristol Rovers fan. We went down. We went out in the league. I was fuming. I was gutted for everybody. We get 8,000 on a regular basis in Rovers. And they've got a temporary stand that's been there 25 years. And we were told they're digging the foundations for a new ground. I mean, they must be in Australia already. Right. I mean, or is it granite they're digging? I just don't. But I don't feel that here. Our fans, if we went away, it's not like you lot. You're unique. Totally unique. I mean, I was giggling me head off. Orient, we only sing when we're fishing. I mean, come on. It's amazing.
We only sing when we're fishing. Sing when we're fishing.
But the beautiful thing about us, I think, the worst thing in the world is to be up yourself. That sound, I want to explain that, right? I'm great and I'm great and I'm great and I'm great. Life ain't about you, whoever you are. You know what I mean? What you gotta do is be big enough to laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously, and then you might have a chance of being a proper person and people associating with you and wanting to be around you. And you know, at the end of the day, that's what my dad was like. Right? He was resuscitated 3 times the night he died. And it still breaks my heart now because he came back and he was crying and he thought he was a failure. I never saw him cry, but he thought he was a failure because he wasn't sure that the house was paid for. We were in a council house at the time. And he thought he died a failure. Well, I thought he was the richest man on earth because of how he made us feel about family. Now, you weren't here the other week. What happened to him when he was 13, I wouldn't want it to happen to anyone. He came home from school and his dad was blown up. A bomb landed and it almost landed right on him. So a week later, there's a knock on the door and some insurance fella said, "Oh, it's your stepmom in, Bill." And his mum ran down the corridor saying, "Don't tell him that." So his world was just literally torn apart. And I asked him about it and he said nothing apart from, I was horrible at that time. He was 13. And he said, for a couple of years, I'm not going to talk about how I was. All I realised in the end was that mum and dad, whether they were mine or not, couldn't have loved me any more than they did. So I'm going to make sure I treasure my family. And every day he came in, he went straight to my mum. There was 3 of us. Straight to my mum, sang to her. He had a good voice. His dad used to play the saxophone. He had a brass band, and he was the leader on it. So my dad couldn't play, but he could sing. So he'd dance with her, and then put her down and say, "Right, how's he been today?" So my brother John, 9 years older than me. "Have you looked after your brother? Have you looked after your sister?" And then he went down to my sister. "How are you?" "Right, less responsibility." And then me. "What have you done, you little bugger?" And my mum sometimes wouldn't tell him, because I had it around my little finger. But really, it was all family values. So just have a look round, look at the size of our family here. It's getting bigger and bigger every day. But what I will do, I will tell my big brother, shut up if I think he's wrong. I would tell my sister, stop that. That don't look nice, do your hair different. I'd tell her the truth. Bravest thing I've ever done. My sister said, "Does my bum look big in this?" Of course it does, love. It looks lovely and cuddly. Wish I'd never said it. But what I like about it is the truth and honesty. And that's where we are, right in this football club right now. And you know, I do tease, but I tell the truth. Right? It's right to be frugal, but not too tight. It's right to be careful. That's why we've still got this wonderful club. We ain't like Bury. But what we want to do is feel like we're moving forward, and that's what I want to do, is bring life and breathe life into this bouncy castle of ours. And who's to say where it could go? I'm dreaming. Oscar Wilde said it. We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. And boy, oh boy, I can see some stars now. Right, I don't know about last weekend, I don't know if you saw, I've been watching some horrible fighting, because I couldn't do that. Conor McGregor, little Irish bloke, good gracious me. He went crazy a few years ago. He won everything and then started going off the rails, drinking whiskey and God knows what, fighting Mayweather. He went back in the ring last week. I thought he was going to get beat up by the cowboy. My God. After the fight, he won in 40 seconds. After the fight, he described what he knew was going to happen. And he hit him with his shoulder. The bloke didn't know what he did. But what he did, he built his plan. So what I got to do now, I got all these games, and thousands of them. I played nearly 1,000 games, and I've managed nearly 1,000 games, so I've got all of that going around in my brain. What I want to make sure is my lads understand why and what we're going to talk about, and I want them to understand they have to implement it with the help of our boys. And it's just remarkable. I've only just met them. I feel like I've known them all my life. And that's what we've got here. Right? Everything starts somewhere. I just want you to feel it. And I want you to remember it. When we're not getting what we want, I'm not going to moan, I'm going to help them. And we'll go again. A winner is someone who gets knocked down, but he gets up again. Right? And eventually, that loser becomes a winner. Because he will never, ever, ever stop. The best I've ever seen in the whole of sport, in my opinion, was Andy Murray. He used to literally beat himself up on court, blame everybody else, lose his thing and lose everything. Because he wanted to win too much. In the end, I was crying my eyes out when he won at Wimbledon. I was so proud of him. So difficult to do that. To stop yourself self-destructive. So difficult. And I've managed to do that in my life because I was so critical of everything I did. It was never, ever good enough for me. Ever. Ever. And I'm a little bit like that at the training ground with the earth. Why is the earth on the concrete? Why in the mud with the mud? Get off, so I get a broom and whatever. Because mud wants to be with mud, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Honestly. Yeah, but if you leave it there, it's not good enough, is it? Why should it be somebody else's job to tidy up? That's why I'm so appreciative of everybody behind there. You should see what they're doing there. All those dishes, we should all go and help them, really. Yeah, it's just me. But what a wonderful, wonderful life. You know what I mean? And my sister, every Christmas, she watches It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if you've seen it, with James Stewart. What a magnificent, magnificent film. A little boy saves his brother and all of that. Angel comes down, trying to get his wings. You've got to watch it. Makes me cry every time because all his friends, he was so genuine. They come and saved him at the end with all the money. And that's what life's about. Making friends like that, being part of something that's really, really special. And I've got to end now because it's getting late. Thank you, you wonderful, wonderful, competitive bugger. Thank you, you little Rottweiler. Thank you, you big-headed cat. Thank all the people behind there. Thank all of you for coming. And all I can say, for those people on the internet, it might be nice at home, but this is brilliant here, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. We are going to just wrap up the internet, so thank you for joining us on YouTube. We hope you've enjoyed it. Guys, say a big thank you guys for the guys on the YouTube, and then we can wrap the YouTube channel down. Ollie?